No black cats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen. Welcome to a very special episode of Per Play Pursuit. We are here off of a break week. There has been no event since our last episode. We came in here last week. We broke down UFC Vegas 109, Macy Chiasson versus, Aaron Blanchfield versus Macy Barber. And so Clash of the Titans there in the women's division. Macy Chiasson taking on Ketlin Vieira. We were supposed to have Macy on the show. She bailed. And then she bailed again. So, to be honest, we invited her on the show, and
don't say anything crazy. I'm the one who has a relationship with Macy.
We completely forgot that she has a fight this weekend.
I did not forget. I told her we could wait until after. She was being ambitious with the schedule. Is my opinion.
Yes, exactly. So she was being ambitious with the schedule. So, we gave you the predictions for Barber versus Blanchfield. We gave them to you early. Go watch them. At the very end of this episode, I think there was like one fight added to that card. I'll break that one down for you too. But for now, I had to make the thumbnail for this episode, and I was on Canva, and I typed in Newark to get an image of Newark to put behind for the thumbnail. And I was like, none of these images are doing Newark justice. So I erased that. I typed in bad neighborhood. And then that's the thumbnail I used. So UFC's going to Newark. Guys, Alex and I were from New Jersey. Newark is pretty much a third world country at this point, okay? Newark, New Jersey has open-air drug markets. Newark, New Jersey has high crime. Not only do they have things to corrupt you, gambling, drugs, everything, they also just will directly rob you in Newark. So don't go to Newark. I thought about going to the fight, but I've been to the Prudential Center once, and it's a shithole of a place. Both the actual stadium. I looked at a little boy, he's a Devils fan. I go, don't you wish your dad made you a Flyers fan so you could come on down to the beautiful, beautiful arenas we have down there in Philadelphia? I'm like, we've torn down arenas that are better than the Prudential Center, the Wachovia Center. We used to we didn't tear it down, but I'm saying like we've already outrun those arenas, those stadiums. So we thought with UFC going to Newark,
leaving Wells Fargo soon.
Right. We demolished Veterans Stadium, and Veterans Stadium, Newark Prudential Center can't hold a candle to Veterans Stadium. So the point is, don't go to this event live. Newark. Me and Alex are Jersey boys. Dan, rest in peace, was a Jersey boy. This is a Jersey show. So to break down UFC Newark, UFC 316, Austin 316. What? Alex, can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah.
So we had to bring a very special third chair. As you guys know, and we'll get into this a little bit more, Dan is going through what we can only describe as a deep psychosis. So prayers for Dan. But we need a third chair for the show. So today, with it being a New Jersey episode, we got a very special guest. I'm gonna wait no longer. If you thought Macy Chiasson was good, just wait till you see this.
All right, we got a situation.
We got a situation. Solecki.
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
Doing great. How are you doing, Joe? Where are you at right now?
I'm at the gym. We just finished up teaching a little bit. We had a nice night on the mats. And, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So you're there by yourself. There's no listeners? There's no other people listening?
Well, I'm in the back area near the bathrooms. They still got classes to go. Dude, we got 38 classes a week. Come down, train at Jimmo. We got 2 classes going right now. We're going all night. So, yes, they're still here, but not in this room right now.
Nice. I just wanted to make sure, there weren't little kids around listening, hearing about this, because the first thing I want to do here, Joe, like, as you heard before you joined, Dan is out So let me bring you up to speed a little bit on Dan. Your friend of me, Dan, who famously picked against you in one of your fights. You proved him wrong. Dan and you have had a back and forth on this show, a little bit of a storyline here. But Dan is the ultimate loser. Not only so we did a competition in year 5 to see how much money we can make, right? And we tracked every week, like starting with $1,000 bankroll. I took mine up as high as $3,900. Right? I almost 4x my money, right? Lost it all and then some. Won it back, right? This is over many weeks. This is over a 52-week campaign, right? And then ended up losing it all again. So highs and lows, but Dan, he started with his $1,000 bankroll, and he was never at or above $1,000 again for the entire year. It was an entropic journey all the way to zero, and then past zero into the negative numbers. Dan, you lost about, what would you say? I was like $4,000.
I think it was less than that.
In a year, it was like $3,900 all in all in a year. So people are, he basically cracked a little bit. He cracked, and he's not doing the show anymore. But Alex and I, we can't just do the show because there's no bathroom breaks when it's a 2-man show.
Dead air. You can't have the dead air.
Yeah, we can't have dead air. So we need a third chair. So we're kind of auditioning people. Last week we had Macy. Well, we were supposed to have Macy Chiasen on, number 5 ranked women's contender, fighting this weekend. She's fighting this weekend. She had to postpone, but we got you. Before we get into this UFC NEWARK, what's going on in the retired life? How's retirement going? I see your Instagram. I see you're competing. I saw you won. Tell us all about it. What's going on?
Yeah, bro. Well, I fell victim to a little home cooking, I think, last weekend in Jersey. I don't think they respected my Jersey roots. I think I got treated like the out-of-towner. So, yeah, I'm having fun competing. I'm loving it. Did one in New York. Did one New York Open. Did IBJJF Atlanta. I ended up losing on points. Weird competition day. And then had the match with Sabatini on Friday. And it was a little strange. I've never, 24 fights, whole grappling career, never complained about a decision, points, anything like that. I'm going to say it was a little bit of home cooking on this one. Or ignorance.
Yeah, So, first of all, those guys pretty well, right? Just from, competing in grappling and stuff like that. I remember you telling me that you kind of competed alongside some of the guys, not necessarily Sabatini, but we were going through the list of guys that kind of train in that Philly area. So, were you seeing the guys that you had known,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I like all those guys. Any interaction that I had. And then the one, Pat was great, dude. We had a great match. It was fun. But I think whoever was judging or reffing, they botched it a little bit. Mine and Weidman's, actually. So, love the event. Want to keep competing there. I want to run it back is what I want to do. But, so we had a submission-only match. The regulation is submission-only, 8 minutes. So if there's no submission, it's all that matters. No points. Takedowns don't matter. Nothing matters, right? You're just grappling. It was for a belt, so that meant 4-minute overtime. So in the overtime, it's either first to score or judge's decision if there's no score on aggression. So I pulled guard. I attacked for 4 minutes straight. Had a bunch of almost sweeps, couple almost back takes. The end. And then he gets his hand raised. And they asked him why he thought he won. He's like, well, I passed the guard in regulation. Oh, you mean the part that it specifically says isn't scored? So that's honestly, bro, I've never been pissed in the back room after a fight, anything like that. I lost my mind in the back room. I was throwing chairs. I was pissed. So yeah.
So you're out there with Sabatini. I know, did you start to think I was very impressed with Pat Sabatini his last fight. Anderson Brito. I think a lot of people thought that Brito would be more competent on the ground. But I think he is. I think that Sabatini is just that good. And you're out there with them, locking up with them. What goes through your head? Are you, now that you're retired, are you like, damn, I still got it. Pat Sabatini is, upper echelon.
I don't look at it like an MMA fight. I do still got it. You don't just lose your skills. But now I've been focused on jiu-jitsu. And as soon as we tied up, I was like, oh, he's got a good strong grip. good athletic hips, but just not the technical chops to really hang anywhere. Not to be a jerk, like super good, very very good. There's just I feel like there's levels in the jiu-jitsu realm because there's more specificity, and I think I had the more polished jiu-jitsu skill set. But I totally see why he's smashing everybody. He's an animal and a super class act, dude. Love the guy. I mean, as far as a person to compete against, I don't know him personally like that, but love competing against guys like that. But no, super dude, especially a weight class lower than me, felt really strong, felt really explosive, and really good awareness because he kept using his athleticism and awareness to pick the right time to kind of evade and then enter back in and then evade. But my point being, if all you do is evade in the portion that's scored in aggression, then you're not winning, So whatever. I don't think that will ever come back again, that rematch, because I think what are you gonna do? I pulled guard, I conceded, right? So then what are you gonna do in the rematch? You're gonna have to pull guard. He's not gonna pull guard against me. That'd be a horrible idea. So
I mean, pulling guard in a jiu-jitsu match though is like getting into the fight. I mean, butt scooting is one thing.
But I'm saying like if we did that, we did one takedown scramble. I almost scored it. He went to the edge of the mat. They restarted us at neutral. That's fine. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to spend a submission-only round trying to get one takedown, and there's no time left to work. So then pulled guard, attacked, and then – so what I'm saying is in a rematch, you go, okay, I'm not going to pass. So I guess I have to pull guard. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to do that. So I don't think they're going to let that happen again. But really fun. It was a great time. I just wish – because like I said, the reason I'm pissed is because, I think they're using that event a little bit to glaze over some of their guys. But I'm doing this as like a second act. Like I'm trying to compete at a high level, So you're taking something that I want, and I was more than any fight, more than anything, I was super upset. I was very mad.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was kind of asking. Like, obviously, you can still compete. That wasn't even a question, even in your last fight. But it's like, I guess I was wondering when you compete in a high-profile for a belt jiu-jitsu match, and it's got all of the pomp and circumstance like of a fight. And you get out there and you compete, does it satisfy you, or does it like, are you like, it seems to me it does, because you're saying you're kicking chairs in the back. Like, obviously it's like, no, this quenches that.
Yeah. I mean, nothing's ever going to feel like a fight to that degree. But I think that's kind of a good thing. Like, because I think that's almost too tumultuous. It's too up and down and crazy. This is more of like a steady, controlled release of adrenaline and burn, and it was just as fun. The build-up was great, but the difference is, like, so I was in the back with Weidman. I was in the back with my buddy Cody Jones, who's competing on the card. All of them fight or fought. And I was like, yo, you know what's nice about this? If fights a 10 out of 10 right now, we're at a 5. Like, there's an enjoyment factor that you don't get to have with a fight because every fight is life. Like, ultimately, if I got the belt on Friday, my life isn't going to change. It was just something I really wanted to achieve. Just for my own, to have a little keepsake, right? But nothing changes. I don't have a contract that's going to go up or down. My stock doesn't go up or down. It's just a personal. So it's almost more fulfilling in that way because it's just stuff I want to do. So same when I went to New York Open. Like the high isn't the same as a fight, but if it was, I won. But if it was a low, it doesn't really matter. You go to the next weekend. I'm competing again in 3 weeks here in Charlotte. So it's just more sustainable. I can have the kids with me. So much fun, like just super good time.
Bro, you
Joe, sorry a cat got my tongue, but I swear as the days go on, you look more like Ilya Taporia.
I swear to God, Alex, I swear to God, I was going to say that. That's why
the last 10 minutes I've been like,
I've been just looking at like,
how did Luke get Ilya Taporia on here? And then
I figure I've been seeing a specialist for that because I figure if I can't be, well known on my own merit, I'm gonna just be mistaken for Taporia everywhere I go. So I'm trying to look more like.
No. I like in today's kind of like TikTok era, I really think like Joe, I went to school for marketing. Like I have a degree in marketing. Okay, so I see the whole idea through, and I've already seen this like play out the whole way. And it's International Fight Week. We are in Vegas, me, you, and Alex, and we go to a salon and we go. Make him look exactly like this guy, and they give you a spray tan, and they give you they trim your beard, just like all you have to do is give you his haircut. It's like
we're in there, and then tattoos. The only thing I can't do is shadow box because I'm like, oh my gosh, that's definitely not him.
Listen, Teddy Atlas said Ilya is the best boxer in the UFC, regardless of any weight class. So there you go. But I don't even think we need to do anything with the tattoos. I think the common fan sees tattoos. They go, yeah, that's the guy. He's got tattoos. We just open button shirt, gold chain, shape him up a little bit. I mean, he's usually got the same kind of, and we just walk the casinos, and me and you just kind of like try to act like you film him, and I'll like be like pushing people away, and we'll just see how, and we'll do a whole viral video.
Front row tickets, international.
We can start extorting him. I can start doing some really horrible things and be like, hey, we're gonna leak the footage if you don't send us 10% units first.
That's fucking illegal.
Or Joe, maybe we just all go front row. Ilia Topuria versus Ilia Topuria face off. Then you're right back in there for another belt.
Because Alex, we're in Vegas, we're walking around, we're doing videos. People are, and then all of a sudden the UFC employees are like, "That's hilarious. Wait, we want to bring Joe in to do like a whole little bit." Like they would do the UFC in the corny. No offense, but in the core, I love the
Nina drama
in the corny direction, like.
Oh, 100% they are. Everything, everything.
No. They would eat this up. This is like right what they want. They're like, yeah, it's cute. It's like, it's like they love this shit. So
they're 5 seconds away from having Nina Drama announce a fight, taking Bruce Buffer's spot.
For sure. Yo, for real, I was listening to, are you guys familiar with Robert Drysdale?
Of course.
Yes.
Okay. So I've been watching a lot of his interviews and stuff because I think the jiu-jitsu historian aspect is pretty interesting. But he's doing, I guess, a new book on the culture. And I was listening to it today, and he was saying how, like, once you do this, you can't go backwards. Like, where we've headed as a martial arts culture is, like, so dangerous because you're going to keep upping the ante. Like, he said, like, it was Craig Jones versus Gabby Garcia. What's next? Like, it's going to be 2 midgets. It's going to be 2, like, you can't, you're taking away from merit. And I was like, dude, he's exactly right. Like, and some people love it, and I can't stand it. Like, I have students being like, what do you think about tag team? You're like, bro, do you know what I did for a living? Like,
tag team is kind of
tag team wrestle somebody? Like, that's crazy.
Listen, I'm with you, but I like some of them. Like, I'll tell you the ones I like and the ones I don't like. Okay. So I saw, like, for example, power slap. Don't like. Yes. Don't like power slap. The new thing they're doing with rugby, where 2 guys run at each other, called run it straight or something like that, and it's in New Zealand and Australia. Don't love that.
That's an Oklahoma drill. What do you mean? That's
it's basically an Oklahoma drill as a sport with
I think it's
giant
right?
Samoan guys just smashing into each other. And I'm like,
I think it's like this, right? We have
I like that better than power slap, though. That's better than power slap. I'll put that here.
I think we could drive our cars at each other on the street full speed and it'd be better than power slap.
Wait. So Karjitsu.
Horrible.
Oh no, I like Karjitsu.
Well, here's the thing. It's
fine.
fine.
It's real world practicality. Like, you might be in a car and have to do jiu-jitsu against somebody.
It's fine, but the problem becomes, like, it's the circus. We just have to acknowledge that it's the circus, and it's not for serious people, right? That's where I don't like it, because the lines blur.
I've met a couple midgets that are pretty serious about wrestling.
Guys, I'm going to have to correct both of you at this point. When it's micro or little people or something else. They don't use that anymore. Okay.
You're like, yo, he definitely can't be the co-host. We're getting canceled.
I know. I'm like, guys, I thought I had to worry about me.
We can't get canceled if we never get started, Joe.
Is like, it's fine as long as we realize that those people aren't craftsmen at the martial. As long as we know power slap isn't UFC, but the general person doesn't understand that. So, like, when you put Craig versus Gabby on the CJI with the Rotolo brothers and Tackett's, it's a very blurred line of, like, elite competitor and then freak show, and that's where, like, when I have students coming up being like, do you want to go tag team for $1,000 in Fayetteville? You're like, absolutely not. Do you know what I do for a living? Like, I take this very serious. No, I don't want to tag team with 50 people circled around screaming around the 2-foot pit,
In that regards, you're like a ringer, though. You know what I mean? So that's why it's more disrespectful for you to do that, because, like you said, it's like,
but the lines are getting
they know what
blurred
they're doing when they ask you to come be their tag team partner. You got, like,
the lines
but Joe, let me ask you a single question. How many people in the world have asked, can Gabby Garcia compete with some of these high-level jiu-jitsu guys? And Craig, being, not as not on this in the same weight class as her, was kind of a representation. And people have asked these questions all the time. So I don't necessarily think that it's the freak show aspect where now Craig is going against Gable Steveson, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, what Can Gable impose his will with wrestling to win a match over Craig?
I think that's more like the roots of
UFC.
UFC. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is like this. Like we blurred it with Brock Lesnar only because he was a pro wrestler too, but he had
And a college wrestler. He was a college wrestler.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but then people don't know that go, oh well, he's a pro wrestler. So then we did the same thing with CM Punk, and it's like, guys, if you can't see the difference between that, one deserved to be there just in the fact that we had no heavyweight depth, and he was a collegiate national champion and had a fight already in Pride, so he proved he was good. Then we bring CM Punk in, he's making more than 95% of the roster. You're like, we started a slippery slope all the way back then, which is fine, but it was just like now you get people that have no skill just trying to be notable, like the Nina Drama. Like Nina Drama has no business doing an interview with anybody on Fight Week. She can be there like anybody else with credentials, but the fact that UFC puts that on your schedule for media is insane. Like they're lowering the bar so much. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, they're also just asking you to, like, every one of her little skits is like involved.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, hey, you have to sit down with Daniel Cormier. Okay, I have to get an interview by Daniel Cormier. That's not the end
You
of the
have to choke out Nina Drama.
Yeah.
Like,
Although I'll say, Daniel Cormier takes his interviews about as serious as Nina Drama does. So.
Damn, dude, fucking Joe is shots firing with both fucking hands, dude.
I like dude, but we would go in the fighter meetings and he would be playing on his phone.
Yeah.
And then he would say that, like, oh, sorry, I'm playing bowling. I'm doing this. Oh, what'd you say? And you're like, yeah, man, I didn't have to come out of here at 9:30 in the morning to come to this meeting while I'm cutting weight. Like, I don't want to be
I would have expected him to be a Candy Crush guy, considering his size.
I have tons of respect for that guy. I'm just saying, like, there's so many people that take it so much more seriously that could be involved that didn't get the gig because of politics, or playing favorites or whatever it is. And you're like, dang, man, like even Brett Okamoto, like I think he's horrible. I think he has the personality of a wet rag,
I mean, Brett Okamoto does a show on ESPN called Best Bets, and they're down more than Dan. I mean, they should be in a psychosis. Dan should be sitting right here. We should be doing best bets, but no, I mean, there's, the term industry plant gets thrown around a lot. I personally, I'm right there with you. I would say 90% of who the UFC offers up as, analysts or whatever. Like it's Dean Thomas, Chael Sonnen, and that's like it. I mean, like I don't really love anybody else. I'm like, listen, I like Alan Jouban just fine, but like Alan Jouban hasn't been relevant in ever.
Well, like who should have been on there?
Like, hasn't. It's like, what are we doing? Like you're telling me there's no one else. Like we got.
Think about James. I mean, obviously not anymore because of the scandal, I guess. But when before we knew it was illegal betting, James Krause was fantastic with that. Why do we have this Mookie Betts guy on there who's all goofy and weird?
Well, I think you answered it though with we probably still would have James Krause, but
yeah.
That's fucking illegal.
He could have been an analyst because you got a guy in a small town with 15 guys in the UFC. Like this guy's obviously some kind of savant. Yeah. Why don't we have him on there? Why don't we have Trevor Whitman more? Like, just so weird how it plays out. But anyway, sorry.
Well, listen, you know what? Also, I want to ask you is, what do you think about all of these retired fighters who are getting the B-roll afterwards? When you see a guy like Jose Aldo retire in the cage, no B-roll prepared, no in-crowd, fanfare involved with a guy as legendary as Jose Aldo, but you roll out the red carpet for, for lack of a better term, journeymen such as like Michelle Watterson, such as the Kung Fu Panda, the Violent Panda, or whatever her name is. But then you don't give the respect to guys like Jose Aldo, Clay Guida. You don't give the respect to these people who built the foundation that these others have walked on.
Well, why do we never hear about Randy Couture anymore? You know what I mean? Like they wrote him out of history. And I love the UFC. Yeah. I'm just saying, as a fan, like I was watching podcasts the other day where they do these deep dives on people's careers, and you're like, yo, this guy was great, or this guy has knowledge. So I was watching Kenny Florian's another one.
Yes.
We don't talk about Kenny Florian at all. Kenny Florian's a legend.
And what happened with that? Why does Kenny Florian not get talked about? I think he fought for like 4 different belts at 4 different weight classes.
Yeah, he was fantastic. And the Ultimate Fighter Season 1, like, he could be a Hall of Famer. But the guy I was watching was Mac Danzig yesterday. I go, this guy's got a wealth of knowledge. Why don't we talk about this guy? Like, he doesn't need a commentating job. There's only so many. But why is this guy, the highlights never shown? Like, there's so many guys that have come and gone, but they didn't get any push or any play. It's just so strange to me. And then the problem is the perception of, like, these guys that are in the new generation have no idea of, like, oh, this guy was just talented, or this guy was just, like I was saying the other day, like, I actually used Cormier as the example. I said, I don't think that he knows as much about fighting as my buddy Scott Holtzman, who was a 155er, who's smaller, who had to learn MMA at age 26 and made his way to the UFC, like, no combat sports background, had to learn wall wrestling, defensive jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. I go, if you told me I had to start from scratch with a guy and make it to the UFC, and you gave me a Daniel Cormier or a John Jones or Scott Holtzman, I'm going Scott Holtzman every time. He had to actually learn fighting. He didn't have freakish ability, you know? So, and the guy I was telling that to was like, no way, like, this guy was a champion. I'm like, if you can't understand, you know, knowledge versus, and he's like, well, he's a commentator. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't mean anything, dude. Like, I watched an entire fight where they're trying to tell me Bilal Muhammad had a close fight with Jack Della Maddalena. Bro, if you can't see there's a narrative there being pushed, you're crazy.
Now, have you watched, I know it just came out last night, The Ultimate Fighter with DC?
I didn't watch it last night.
Okay, well, great episode, you know, no free plugs over here, but great episode of The Ultimate Fighter. Daniel Cormier is doing a lot of hooting and hollering the whole time, right? Like, just hyping his guy up, where Chael Sonnen comes up with a game plan to defeat the fighter that he's fighting. So kind of where you stand there, it's like, yeah, Chael Sonnen never was a double champ in the UFC. Wasn't even.
I've never lost, but I've also never been injured. It's one of those things.
Wasn't a single champ in the UFC. You know, he should have had a WEC title. Just because the champ misses weight doesn't mean that isn't on the line anymore. That's bullshit. But Chael Sonnen was able to narrow in on how this guy can win this fight against this dominant striker. Took him down. I'm not going to do any spoilers. You know,
I love the balls on my mouth.
But he.
You're muted. Your mic came unplugged. Joe, I know you're holding the phone up with your hand. I kind of had in my head, we got a 12-fight UFC 316 offering here, classic as we call it, 12 fights. I kind of had in my head, you come on the show, you're retired now, so you're like being in like a room like I am, you're in a lounge chair, and you're like, yeah, I'm doing shit. Let's break down the whole card. I'm not going to do that to you. You got places to be, you got kids to coach, there's some stuff going on. So, what about just the main and co-main? Can you give us all right. So we'll start at the top this week, and we're going to Newark. You know, we talked about this a lot. I feel like I don't even want to talk to Joe about fights. I just want to keep gossiping. Like I know.
I'm loving the gossip portion. I think we could be a gossip show now. We should from the gambling based on our track record.
I don't even know what I would call it. Like, I feel like I spent my whole life in the gym observing because I was always quiet. Maybe I'm on the spectrum a little bit. That's probably it too. But I always feel like I'm watching, and like you go to these events and you just see stuff, and you're like, why are we letting this coach behave like this and saying they're a great coach when all they do is give pep talks that don't work? Like, here's the thing. Like, okay, this is the last thing I'll say. I don't want to be a negative Nancy. I'm not trying to be like that. But now I'm fired up. Like Leon Edwards' coach, right? I didn't realize that he gave that crazy speech and then he goes out and head kicks him, right? For every one speech he gave Leon like that, he's done 5 other times. And in one of them, Leon actually told him to shut up and get out of the cage. And they never showed that. Like, no. It just so happened you threw crap at the wall, and one time he threw the head kick and it worked. Every other time he quit and completely broke. And in the middle of your speech, he told you to shut up. Like, you're not a savant coach. You're not some God's gift of fighting. You're out there trying to put yourself on because you know they put the mic pack on you before you walked out. And like Mac Danzig said in the interview yesterday, like, this is your audition to be famous. You get 3 minutes per fight to do it, and this is your audition. I was like, bro, I'm so sick of seeing that. Like, again, it's the notoriety versus skill. Like, but then when the guys don't put themselves out there, you're like, oh, I never heard of that coach. Well, that guy's a better coach than this knucklehead who, you know who in our camp loses the battle with Mike? Whoever doesn't show up on the first day. We go like the 2 cornermen, and then the third one maybe flies in that afternoon. You're like, all right, give him the microphone. You know he's not going to want it, but he drew the short straw because they're all selfless people. But then you go to these big camps, like, yeah, I'll take it. And then you got Nick Sick talking about Sean Strickland on a podcast on Monday. I don't know if I'm going to work with him again. What do you mean you're not going to work with him again? He trains under you. He pays you a percentage of his purse. And now you're making it about you. A coach is supposed to be a thankless job. Like, commentator is supposed to be a thankless job. Like, it's just crazy.
Not to mention, because he lost the championship main event that he went all 5 rounds in, like, that's your curve on a guy, Sean Strickland, who's already come back from a motorcycle injury to even make it to the belt, in the belt. And then he has, he's fighting the other best guy in the fucking world. Like,
it's the same as the managers, dude. Why are you a manager? A manager should be seen and not heard. Hey, can you point out Al Heyman in a lineup? I sure can't, and I know he's involved in Floyd's career a lot. So why is a manager in Turkey getting a hair transplant for free and getting a blue check mark on Instagram and in the corner? Like, maybe you have a relationship with your manager, one in the corner. But why are you everywhere and you're telling guys what walkout songs to use because you get free tickets to the country stars concerts? Like, you're all fugazi, bootleg, wannabe celebrities, and you're in this for them. I mean, and I'm sure it's a game. You got to play it. I understand that. Like, maybe it benefits you to be friends with this guy. And then all of a sudden, the guy loses 2 fights. And you're like, why doesn't he post about that guy? I hope they're best friends. Oh, it doesn't serve that manager anymore. He's got a younger guy to now go on vacation with Sean Shelton. You're like, dude, it's just crazy. Like, I wish we could, drain the MMA swamp of that nonsense and just have guys that are actually in it for like, managers is definitely a job to do. Coaches is a job to do. You should be compensated. But, bro, you should be seen and not heard. Why are you making this about you? It's so crazy. And now I feel like that I don't have to play the game. I can talk about it more because it's like I don't have to worry about some manager hearing that and trying to get me on short notice for a bad matchup with his guy that he loves. You know what I mean? Like, you can talk about it a little more. You're looking at me saying we got the bonus, but we didn't get anything. You didn't show me how to rear naked choke somebody. You didn't show me how many times did you visit me during training camp? Oh, we got the bonus? Oh, I forgot all the sparring rounds we did, buddy. We got the bonus.
In the gym?
Yeah, for real. Like, we got the bonus. Oh, by the way, I need 10% of that.
What? 10% on bonuses? Nah.
I mean, hey, I signed the contract like a knucklehead, but we? Bro, are you kidding me? Like, we. All right, brother. I'm not your brother. Shut your mouth. Like, oh, man. We could do a whole episode on that. I promise you.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. We will have to. We will definitely have to. I mean, we're open. I want to keep your time top of mind. So, man, there's so much.
I mean, I don't think we should break down any fights tonight. I think this should just
We're
be
already early. We're already early. I mean,
I'm probably coming in a good mood, too. I don't know why I just ranted. I'm sorry. I had a great night with my students. We had a blast.
No, because it's not. You're not even talking shit. Like, listen, you're not bitter. You're not coming out here like you're content, but you have eyes inside, and you're like, this is what I've seen, and this you're not out here trying to flip the tables over and say everything should be different, and I'm going to change it. It's like you're just no, this was my experience. If you're interested in this,
I did honestly. I haven't missed since I retired. I haven't missed a fight card, maybe 1 or 2. Dude, I love fight. I don't feel like it didn't. I feel like I won the game. Obviously, there's levels to this. You could be independently wealthy, you could be a champion. But I feel like I won the game. I feel like I got what I needed out of it. I feel like I got to live my dream. I think fighting is amazing. I think the UFC is amazing. I appreciate them. I don't think I was owed anymore. But now you go, hey, I don't really have to rub elbows with anybody. I would love to help these guys get to the UFC that I train with now and my buddies but if they want to have other people in their I don't have to rub elbows and play the game. I'm just coaching people who want to learn jiu-jitsu and some MMA. I don't have to suck up to anybody. And before, you got to keep your mouth shut a little bit. You can't tell your manager to be like, hey man, I don't want to go to dinner with you and 5 other guys from this team. We're not teammates. This isn't team management. I have my teammates, the 5 guys that flew out, me and my wife and my kids. Like, we're not on the same team, brother. You know, like, stop texting me, brother. By the way, like, I know that's what in cool guy classes that's what they said to it's just whatever. It is what it is. But like, it's just I feel like the chains are off. Like, you can actually talk freely.
Well, I mean, okay. So the one thing I never want to see from you though, Joe, is if you do train somebody and they get to the UFC and they, I don't know, they like ground and pound TKO or they get like a knockout or a decision win, and I see you coming in and wrapping that black belt around them, we're gonna have words. Because you said
ground
it, right?
And pound would make sense, though. You know, controlling is a very important part of jiu-jitsu.
That's the sneaky way that coaches like to get their name out there too. Is they give the black, which half of me is like, all right, look, getting my blue belt was like the best day of my life, and I fucking remember that when I got my blue belt, it was like it was a whole thing, and it was great, and I have a great memory of it. So if I got my black belt after winning a UFC fight and my coach a week ago was like, I'm going to give them their black belt, I'm waiting for the right time. And you want to do that and it's all in good, like that's one thing. But a lot of these coaches, they couldn't wait to wrap that black belt around.
It happens at IBJJF as well.
And they're not even good at it. Like that's other,
It's Paulie from Rocky, the meat guy's sticking his face in. They're trying to film the commercial and he's sticking his face in. You're like, dude, it's not about you. Like, coaching is supposed to be seen and not heard, or not even seen.
Yeah. I mean, I think the other part of it is like you have. It's like, okay, so who would be a great manager, right? It's like at the end of the day, I view being a manager as being the same. In my opinion, it's the exact same thing as being a salesperson because you should be paid off commission. You should be paid off what you bring into your client. I'm not even your manager, but if I called you and said, hey, Joe, I don't know if this is important to you, but I was just talking to this guy at Gatorade and he knew who you were. And he's like, yo, we have this thing coming up and it's all about jujitsu and Joe would be perfect for it. And it pays $100,000 over the course of 2 years. He just has to do a couple events for Gatorade. And I called you with that. Like, if I called Alex with that, it's like, yeah, give me a finder's fee. Like, yeah, like, let me get my beak wet. Like,
you get nothing from me.
But it's like, it should be a small percentage of the bigger picture that I've brought in. You know what I mean?
Like, and I know that in this game,
you do the work. They want to be like, oh, you use this guy's country song on your walkout so that I can talk to him about getting a deal with you. It's like, no. You get the deal with me. And then
how about this? Not getting a deal with the fighter, getting free tickets for themselves.
Right.
To be on stage, dancing around, having a Make-A-Wish Foundation as a grown man. Doing God knows what. Who knows what else is going on backstage. And you're like, dude, like, this isn't about – and they interview the guy. Do you like if you follow anything, you probably know who I'm talking about. But you're like, do you like that singer? And they're like, no, I don't even know who it is. My manager asked me to walk out the song. Bro, kick rocks and beat it. Like, and it's like, you can, and if this person saw that and was like, oh, well, at least, my fighters win and this and that. It's like, yep, and you're 40 trying to play tough guy and pretend you are what we are, and you're not, and that's okay. There's some really good, like, here's the thing. The managers that are good are going to shoot you straight. I thought, obviously Holtzman managed me at the end, but he was working for Danny Rubenstein. Danny's awesome, dude. He's never trying to be that guy. He's got a lot of fighters that he's close to in Vegas that ask him to be in the corner and stuff. But, dude, that guy is never trying to be something he's not. He's really good at what he does. And I understand you got to play the game. Like, you got to keep the matchmaker somewhat happy. You got to cut deals. Totally makes sense. What I don't like is when you're calling me, and that has never happened to me, but I see it with guys. Oh, man, this is a great fight for you, Joe. All right, cool. All right, hey, Luke, I got to fight with Solecki. Yo, this is a great fight for you, bro. Like, you're like, wait a minute. So you're getting 20% on this fight because you're getting 10 from each fighter, and you're selling each one of this as a good fight for them. You're a dirtball. Like, there's no way around it. You're a dirtbag.
There's a notorious manager who does this, but I won't say whose name shall not be mentioned, strictly because I don't want any malicious acts done to us. I don't want any retribution done to us. I respect that man a ton. He looks like Baraka.
I wonder who we're talking about.
But well, listen.
How's Noah?
Can we come?
I think actually, I think he's a guy that is good for the fighter.
Really?
I think he goes to war with the UFC. That's why he only has a few clients. Yes. I mean, I'm sure there's some shady stuff, but I think he is the one that they don't like to deal with. I think he's not trying to make friends. I think I think that's why, I think he's in a different sense. It tells you, you can't go on Air Hawani's or whatever. He shouldn't be doing that. But I think he's one of the least of them. I think he's a quality guy, not a quantity guy.
Well, I think Baraka was the one hosting the John Jones Dana White party, and that's why he gets so many ins to title fights when guys don't necessarily. He must have been there. He must have been there and had the 100 cases of lube or something. Because this.
No, see, I would never speculate. But I personally, what I will say is, what's the narrative now at lightweight? Your former division. Justin Gaethje should be next for the title shot. He just beat Rafael Fiziev, and he should fight next for the title shot after Charles fights Ilya, and then Islam goes to 170. So it's like if you're a manager who's just kind of like got two guys in your division a title shot, and it's like you're moving stuff around, you're doing good by your clients, and no one who is Ali's client will ever say bad.
You think Habib's Dagestani nuts getting dragged across Justin Gaethje's face was good for him?
No, but it's for a title.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You never see two Ali clients in a loser leaves town match. There's never a Sophie's Choice where it's like, hey, one of you's getting cut. Sorry. But I know the other company all the time. I know one recently. You watched it with Brundage and Marquez.
Yeah.
He's calling them going, I know your teammates. I know, sorry, this is probably your last shot. He's calling the other guy saying the same thing. There's no way around that. But what probably happened was, fine, you do this, and I'll lose a client in the UFC, but get, Luke a fight on Contender Series. He's my new guy. All right, fine, sounds good. See you on vacation. That's what's going on, and that's what people don't talk about because they got to kiss people's tail to get, I don't need to be a fight coach. I don't give a damn. I like working with people that want to learn jiu-jitsu and how to defend themselves. And
there's a freaking million ways around that. There's 1,500. There's never been more fighters on the roster. Why do we need to have?
Because you do a favor, and then they owe you a favor for the ones that count when you're getting a big percentage of your title contenders, your top guys. It's all a game, and it's fine. But a lot of these guys think they're getting free concert tickets or dinners before their fight.
It's all a game, but it's a different game when the manager has other games they're playing, right? So it's like the fighter's playing one game, and the manager is. It's kind of similar to the Grant Cardone situation with that guy who Dana White loves, where they told that guy like, "Oh, we're now sourcing your products from this company that we also own," and it wasn't good for him, but it was good for them. Same exact kind of thing going on, right? So. All right. Well, anyway, look, let's just real quick. Do you have some
management teams do now? They buy dinner before your fight, and that's great. That's an expense. I love it. But I always felt guilty. Like after a fight, we did it, and I'm like, oh man, like I'm ordering like I would when my parents are going to pick up the tab. Like, oh, I'm not going to be a glutton. I'm not going to order a coffee. I'm going to get a water. I'm going to this and that. And then you get hit for the 10% of your bonus. You're like, wait a minute, why? I should have ordered a $5,000 dinner. I should have gotten that one of everything on the menu. I shouldn't have shared an entree with my wife. And I know that's how the game's played, but I just wasn't raised like that. In my mind, like, dude, we do this and this is bad business maybe, but I think it's good humanity, right? Oh, I'm struggling. I got to cancel my membership. Hey, listen, how can we work with you? You know what I mean? How about just come, you get back on track when you're like, if one membership is going to make or break, the gym, then you're not running a business properly. Like, when you're sitting at dinner with me and my pregnant wife, and then you go, yeah, we got the bonus, and then you hit the $5,000 invoice on top of my regular percentage, that would have been half my hospital bill. And I know what you're making if every fighter was on the minimum. Like, I just think that's unethical in my mind, And I know there's a contract, I understand that, but you can waive that any chance you want. You can do it, and it's just crazy that the game is played like that. Well, we bought you dinner. Well, yeah, but I didn't ask for that. I would have been happy with a cheeseburger after a weight cut,
Yeah. No, it's
think about this, like the guys that make $400,000 or $500,000, you go, okay, oh man, that's an expensive team dinner. There was 20 people there. Bro, it probably cost $2,000. They're paying them $50,000. Why isn't there a max on this? Because they're not doing $50,000 worth of work. That's a year-long salary. Like there's no way for this fighter you're doing $50,000 worth of commission work. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Especially when you book 2 fighters against each other who get fight of the night.
Exactly. Crazy. I'm sorry, I ramble. I'm talking too much.
No. This is better than anything we could have ever done. and definitely better than anything Dan could have done. So
Yeah, and honestly, we're super ahead of schedule on the picks, so just being able to gossip is a worthwhile episode. So, so all right, what do you think about just before just so we can do a little bit of a sneak preview here? We got Merab versus Sean O'Malley again. Two questions. What does your gut tell you? Like, I say those 2 names. What is like the first thing that pops in your head? And then when you think about it, what do you think is going to happen?
First fight, it was knee-jerk response was O'Malley KO. I go, okay, he shoots it 50 times. Because even in the fight that he dominated, he never really controlled the ground like that. He's not that kind of grappler. He's a fence guy. He kind of cuts you loose and then re-enters, right? So I was like, it's 50 chances at a step back right hand or a step back check hook. And O'Malley's got good eyes. But then, so that's my heart. But then my brain says, I watched it be done. I watched him get dominated. So I still think I'm going to pick O'Malley again by finish. But if it goes to decision, obviously it's Merab. I think 25 minutes is a long time to not get checked by O'Malley. And I think as much as they're cringy and they can be annoying sometimes, I think they're smart. I think he's smart. I think Tim Welsh's full-time job is figuring out how O'Malley can win and what he can do better. And I think they're going to figure something out.
Yeah, I mean that's how I look at it too. It's not just you have to avoid getting knocked out by O'Malley for 5 rounds. Now you have to avoid getting knocked out by O'Malley for 10 rounds.
Yep.
And that was kind of how I felt about Sean Strickland versus DDP. My thinking was DDP won the first fight, but DDP is a finisher. Like, he's not a minute winner necessarily. He's the finisher. And if he goes out there, to spend 10 rounds with DDP and not get finished and be something that 10 opponents haven't done. You know what I mean? There are 10 guys DDP as well, but he's finished all of them. They collectively haven't gone 10 rounds. So when you look at how that went, UFC is a sport where the crazy shit happens, and sometimes happens. If you think about it, O'Malley was only 1, maybe 2 rounds away from winning that fight by decision last time.
Well, exactly. And
so maybe he and Merab has such a brick head. I agree with everything you said, but I'm also part of me is maybe O'Malley does win a decision, because if he just lands more damage, doesn't get taken down, and when Merab does get him down, nothing much happens. That's a win for O'Malley. So, but I do agree with you. I think that O'Malley finds the shot, and I think that seeing Cejudo rock Merab, seeing Marlon Moraes, there's a couple instances where Merab got rocked by the exact same punch. Aldo, a left hook or something, and he just dropped his knees for a second. I got to think O'Malley's studying that. I got to think O'Malley's coming there. What do you think, Alex?
I mean, here's the thing. I think with fights, I'm done studying, because whenever I go too deep, study too hard, I overthink myself into a comatose state where I don't know what to do. I think you got to go with O'Malley, because in MMA, when people think it's a foregone conclusion, it's never the case. And I would like to think that the Red Hawk, what's that fella's name? Andy Welch. And I would think Andrew Welch. I would think that he has seen that Jack Madalena Dak. Oh, see, and now I got it all messed up. Jack Della Maddalena. I would think that he had seen that Jack Della Maddalena fight and thought, these are some interesting ways that we could implement some of the things that Trigger Sean O'Malley already knows how to do to stay on our feet. And I know Merab doesn't have Canelo hands, but I don't know, man. I think that Sean O'Malley can find a way to get this done. I think he's going to throw a lot of strikes to the body. And if he can throw a lot of strikes to the body, maybe he can work at that gas tank of Merab Dvalishvili because, he's got an impeccable gas tank, but Bas Rutten always says nothing hurts a man more than a shot to the liver. So you just keep hitting him there. And I know that might be hard for Sean O'Malley given his dimensions against a guy like Merab, considering Merab is very compact. The best way for O'Malley to hit the body would be with kicks, but you don't want to throw too many kicks against a wrestler. It's a hard fight, but I think O'Malley, once you're you got to spend 50 minutes with a guy who can knock you out at any time, and your one method of victory is decision. That probability you're going to get clipped in one of these, and O'Malley's the type of guy that can finish it off. And I think that a lot of people, just like they think Charles Oliveira is going to beat Ilia Topuria, not on my watch. Okay, that ain't happening. Sorry to break it to you. Ilia Topuria is getting a knockout in the first 2 rounds, and I think Sugar Sean O'Malley is going to find his way to a victory here. Whether he can win by decision, but he can also win by knockout, and he can also win by club and sub. So, you never know what's going to happen with this. I got to go with the guy who has finishing potential at a weight class where you don't see a lot of finishes.
Trophy certified Sean O'Malley. And yeah, Alex, we said a lot of the same things you said while you were on break. It was like, but the one point I raised was about Sean Strickland versus DDP. I thought the same about DDP in terms of him being a finisher and Sean not being able to go, 10 rounds with a guy like that. But I do think that, Sean, a lot more defensively responsible than Merab. And I agree with everything he said. So Trophy certified Sugar Sean O'Malley. And I think
Merab is about to get cut out of this fight because he's about to have to lose a toe. I mean, I don't know if you've heard the news, but his toe is hanging off by a thread. Chael Sonnen won the light heavyweight title because he threw John Jones's toe into the stands. I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about here.
Well, and also the Super Bowl hanger, right? Like Merab beats O'Malley at the Sphere, won the title, avenged Aljo, then beats Umar, short notice. Holy shit! Huge underdog, as the champion. Whoa! Like, he said after he beat Umar, he said, I could retire and die today and be a happy man. He said that. That's a dangerous place to be.
And it's lived by the sword. It's lived by the sword, die by the sword. Like, how reckless he is what makes him great. But it's going to run out at some point because he's going to keep fighting reckless and wants to be successful. And he's going to get like he enters with reckless abandon. His chin is in the air. He's willing to throw and trade, and that's what makes him great. I think that's what's going to get him caught. I think it's just a matter of time. And he's not young at all.
Just like Lou Gehrig, you say it's the happiest day of your life. The next day is the worst one.
Called a peak. No, I mean, it's real. You can only have a certain amount of peaks, and it's like, I believe Merab is still training as hard as he possibly can. But the difference is, I think, when you're in that moment, look, I really do think Merab has an unbreakable mentality. I don't think that this rule actually even applies to Merab, but it might on a subconscious level. That's all I'm saying. I don't think Merab is not fucking working as hard as he possibly can all the time. I know he is. He documents it. But I think on a subconscious level, game of inches, and I think O'Malley has a little bit more fight for now. O'Malley loses, he's in the Israel Adesanya realm. You got 2 losses to the same guy in your weight class, but you're high paid. So you're getting high fucking profile matchups. So you're not fighting down in the rankings. You're not fighting Julian Paiva again. You're fighting I don't even know, Umar Nurmagomedov, or Corey Sandhagen, or So it's not going to get easier for O'Malley with a loss. It gets harder, not easier. For less. So, guys, we've been chatting. I don't want to take any more Joe's time. Joe, thank you so much. You've been more than generous. Next time we invite you on, we will be breaking into the full card. We're ahead of the schedule this week. So, and by the way, we'll wrap that up. We'll get that. We got 12 fights to break down, And we don't have the time to do it tonight, guys. We gotta be out. Now it's gotta be out. We have basically Joe's got kids to teach. He's gonna get thrown the mats. Joe's developing ringworm as we speak because he hasn't showered. So
I didn't roll tonight. I rolled this morning, so I'm good.
Okay, good.
Don't worry. You come here, you be safe.
Are you immune? Are you immune to ringworm by this point? When's the last time you had a skin infection?
No, you know what I get? I felt for Mulatto the other week. I felt bad for him because, this guy gets pulled out of a fight for cold sores, right? and then Bert MMA puts his picture up.
Goes like, you know what? I get herpes. I just
I was about to say,
no, you're a Christian family man. What are you doing?
I get here's the thing, and you sound like a real dirtball if you know the difference, but there is herpes simplex virus 1, which is normal. Cold sores, you break out your neck, there's type 2. So anybody that wrestled, Matt herpes, that's what I get, dude. So if you see my neck broken out, run. But other than that, I get that when I'm stressed and worn out. So at least once a camp, oh man, horrible. And then you got to go to CVS and pick up the Voltrex, and they announce it. You're like, no, it's type 1. I'm not a dirtball. And, it's horrible. That's the one I get bad. I don't really get ringworm anymore, knock on wood. And same with that. This gym, we clean hard multiple times a day with like hospital-grade cleaners. So hopefully it stays out of here like it's
That's
done.
crazy, Joe. I could have sworn that Matt herpes was just a thing I told girls. And
yours might be type 2.
It's like diabetes. Big well, all right. Thanks, Joe. I mean, we gotta let you go. You've been here, but
Appreciate you guys, man. It's fun.
Thanks for coming on. We'll see you next time.
All right. See you guys.
Excuse my language there, but
how good is Joe?
Cheers, man. Man, these never go as I think they're gonna go. I really was like, I had a whole vision for how we could just like do the show normally. Like almost too normally, and just do the whole card top to bottom. So guys, we didn't break down the full card, but I feel like there was some good stuff in there. What we learned, let's summarize. Ali Abdelaziz, white hat, not a black hat. And to Joe's point, there's some managers out here charging for bonuses. Ali Abdelaziz, I know for a fact, one of his fighters told me he didn't even take any commission on his fighter until that guy bought and owned a home. And I know that fighter admitted that and said it was true. So I think
who told you that?
A fighter said that in an interview. He said Ali had never.
I thought a fighter personally came up to you.
He took no commission on my pay and said use that money and buy yourself a house.
I thought somebody BJ Penn Joe Rogan style like.
Dude, we got to talk about BJ. Shit is crazy, dude. I'm on BJ's side 100%. I believe everything BJ says. I think that everything he says is 100% true. There you go. That's my take. I'm on BJ's side. I fucking am ashamed that people are not rallying to defend BJ right now and help him. Where's Eddie Bravo? Where's Eddie Bravo ass at?
Bangkok ready.
Where's Eddie Bravo? Where's Joe Rogan?
When you look into it,
Eddie, open letter to Eddie Bravo. Help your friend BJ Penn. Only you can help him, Eddie.
Luke, I'm starting to think.
Only you understand, Eddie.
I'm starting to think that Mike Baker has gotten into a lot of these guys' heads. And you know who has Mike Baker on all the time. I'm not going to make any allegations, but I've heard that the BJ Penn situation goes CIA deep. That's what I've heard. Mike Baker, CIA agent on notorious podcasts. I mean, look into it, man. When you look into it, that's why these guys aren't jumping to help BJ Penn with their billions of dollars.
Save BJ Penn and his family's fortune. Please, everybody, help him. He is being sabotaged by the Sabotage Squad, and he is also his family are being impersonated with masks.
Dude, and you know, the Greek freak, the Greek wristlock master was over there, and he said, I'm from Chicago. I'm going to record. I record every.
He said, I'm from Chicago. I ain't fucking. That's so funny because as somebody who lived in Hawaii for 2 months, you do feel that way when you're there. You do kind of feel like you can be like, I came out of New York City. I kind of wanted to be like, I lived in New York City. I'm from the mainland. Like, I got this. I actually know what's going on here. Like, you almost feel like you can
It's
tell
not
a cop.
island law.
You
It's
almost
not
feel you can
island
tell a
law.
cop. Yeah, you almost want to tell a police officer in Hawaii, like, I'm from the mainland. I'm from New York City. I'm pretty much a big shot. You know, like, yeah, I know. New York City, the Big Apple. Like, you kind of like have
Because you
that
know what they do with the bad locals. They throw them right in that daggone volcano, as far as I know.
They put him in the volcano. Yeah, I don't even think it's that. I think that's too much effort. There's so many feral pigs in Hawaii. You just throw them to the pigs, dude. Like, you can get rid of people very easily in Hawaii, very easily. But that being said,
BJ Penn's sister sitting there with
Hey, no. I love you. You didn't hear me. I love you.
BJ Penn sitting there like a Bond villain, holding him over the volcano. Like,
not your fault.
You thought you could get away, BJ. Oh, see? BJ Penn straddled nude.
He's in a Scooby-Doo movie. Like, they're like, let's use behind this mask. They're like, he's like, Jake Paul. Jake Paul is wearing a mask.
Dude, I felt so relieved when I saw that video of BJ Penn getting arrested because I thought JD Penn was the one filming it. Like, this isn't right. But now I know. BJ had to call people from the mainland to protect
Why were
him.
they so obsessed about the money?
That is concerning.
They were like, the money in his pocket. And even the guy filming was like, my debit card's broke. Like, I need that money. Like, they're just trying to get it. I'm like, you guys are literally trying to get money out of his pocket as he's being arrested. Like, you're literally trying to get money out of his pocket. Like, I don't know what else. I'm just saying it. Like, people might say, I don't know who the fucking wrist lock wizard is. I'm like, yeah,
I know who he is. I think he's a 10th planet guy.
If you said, Luke, who are BJ Penn's friends? I would be like, his brother, Jay Penn, and Boss Rutan. So you know what I mean? Like, if Boss Rutan were there filming, I'd be like, I trust Boss Rutan. You know? If it was like...
I'd trust Boss Rutan with my children for a weekend.
I would quite literally do anything Boss Rutan asked me to do. Quite literally. So if he asked anything of me, I would do it. So open letter to Boss Rutan. Thank you for all you've done. Inside MMA was a fantastic show. You made that show. I think we're done. I think we're done, right?
Yeah, I think so.
We'll check back in next week. We'll bring the guest on, the fan. The fan who will become the Dan. The fan who will become the Dan.
Who will become the Dan. You know, and he's not taking any 5-figure discounts. Let's just say that.
What do I call this episode? I'm just gonna say UFC NEWARK early predictions.
No.
Right, to make that true, O'Malley, Harrison, Pfeiffer, O'Malley, Harrison, Pfeiffer, Holland, Patchy Mix, Josh Van, Ariane Lipitsky, Waldo Cortez Acosta, Jo Sang Yu, Chaos Williams, Yanal Ashmoose, and Azamat Murzakanov. Brendan Barry.
We're gonna finish this episode.
We're gonna do that next week, guys. Regular time.
We're gonna finish this episode like Happy Days, right, Luke? And you know, the notorious the first cliffhanger, if I believe. You're not gonna find out my picks on this episode. The only one
you're gonna jump the shark.
I'm gonna jump the shark, baby.
Yeah, I thought I did that when I had Athena May as my co-host.
Hold on, Luke. You tell me. Hey.
Arthur Fonzie. It is what it is.
You won't love him if you watch the show Barry. He's a interesting character, Mr. Gene
No,
Cousineau.
I don't watch
Great
Barry.
show. Great show. You should watch it. I just finished it yesterday.
I watched Love on the Spectrum, Brendan Schaub based content, and Red Bar. That's about it. Okay. I love you guys.
Whoa.
We will chat later.
An admittance.
And
It is what it is, and I can't change the past. And
thank you all. We'll be back next week, early next week.